Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 2 of No Digitals Allowed, and today I am going to work with just a file folder as my main base. And most of the things that I have picked to use today you can find at office supplies, thrift stores, antique stores, that kind of thing. And so I am going to attempt to make 3 pieces of ephemera, one for each of the 3 journals that I'm working on. So I hope you will craft along with me and make some things. Sorry, that probably went right in the camera when I lifted that up. Apologize for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half, just so it's easier for me to work with and to get on screen. A lot of times I find my file folders at thrift stores, and also you can find them, like if you have a Dollar Tree, they have real cheap ones there. And when I was working, I could get discarded ones, ones they were going to throw away. But since I'm not working anymore, that's not going to be an option. I'm also going to cut off where the kind of pre-scored lines are, just so I don't get anything down in that section, since I'm not going to use the scored part of the envelope. Or folder. I'm really just using this for a base. Okay, so let me move some of the stuff to the side, and we'll start on the first one. The first journal that I'm going to make something for is the actuary. And it is going to be a journal based on a actuary, of course. And so what I have here are, I'm going to do kind of a numbers, banking kind of thing to go in that. And I am going to make a pocket out of a time card, which you can find at office supply stores. And usually when you get them at an office supply, there's a huge quantity of them. But there are several sellers on Etsy that sell these in smaller quantities if you don't want to invest in like 100 of them. So that's an option as well if you just want a few. So what I did is I just folded up the bottom, and I'm going to make a pocket, and then this can go down in a journal, and I'll probably make it so it's a side tuck as well. So that's my base, and then I have a pre-made tag that I got at an office supply. Again, these come in huge quantities, but you can also find them at some craft supply stores, and you can order them online, of course, from Amazon or someplace like that. Now, you could just as easily make this out of a file folder just by cutting, a rectangle and then angling off the edges and poking a hole. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that just so you can see that it's just as easy. These are 2 3/4. So let's turn it this way, and we'll cut it at 2 3/4. And they are 4 3/4. So we'll cut it 4 3/4. 4, about there. Why does that look too wide? Did I not measure? I don't think I got it to the right line. No, or is it not 2 3/4? No, goofball, it's 2 1/4. Okay, so there's our base. For that, and then I'm going to use my corner snipper, but you can also cut with your scissors and just cut your angles on there. I have this tool, so I'm going to use it. And then I am going to poke a hole, excuse my reach, and poke that out. And put a hole reinforcer on it. Again, hole reinforcers from Office Supply, Amazon, any place like that. And I just ink mine up. That one doesn't want to. Don't do what I just did and let it fold up on each other, because you'll never get it back apart. Go ahead and put one on each side. Not necessary, but I think it looks better. Okay, so now we have basically the same thing as the pre-manufactured one. So we can ink that up now. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cover it. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is use some of this numbers, and this is from like a just a statistics book or something like that, or like a book that does calculations for you. It's in a foreign language, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. And I found it at a used bookstore. And I'm just going to create like a collage on here. Okay, so if we put that there, and then I have 3 little pictures that have to do with banking. And I got the pictures from a book that I have. I'm just trying to decide how I want to, which one I want to use. Kind of like that guy on there. It's just a teller. The book is called Bettman Portable Archive, and it's just a book full of photos. I got it at a McKay's used bookstore. So I'm going to put that on there. And then then I feel like I need one more thing. Maybe what we'll do is create ourselves a label. This one gonna be too big. I think I'll use that. And maybe stamp it in blue because I have, so I'm going to take some just coffee dyed paper. This is a mutual profit coupon, and I believe I bought this from Etsy on, or a seller on Etsy that had lots of just random ephemera. That's a great place to look as well if you want to buy just a bundle of stuff that you can use. Sorry, I'm standing up looking for my green. Do I want green or blue? I think I want blue. Grab my blue inks. These are Tumult's Distress inks, obviously. And I think I'm going to use, do I want prize ribbon? Yeah, I think I want prize ribbon. And let's get a block that is big enough. It's not going to stick. This block I've used for painting and stamping. Let me try another one. Yeah. Now the thing you have to be careful with this label stamp is it's really easy to get the stamp in the middle, and that's not sticking, I can tell already. Oops, that was a slick move. There, I dropped my okay, let's see if we can do it this way. You have to be careful on this to not get ink in that middle part because it will get on your paper. So we'll see how this works. That's not the color I want for sure. Nope. It's not gonna work. All right, well, let's try blueprint sketch. Ah, I knew that was going to happen. This one's probably not going to work either. That's more the color I want. One more time. If it doesn't work this time, we'll go to plan B. I don't know what plan B is, but we'll go there anyway. All right, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out like a label, and then I will decide what I want to put in. Put in it. Okay, so I left that just a little bit of room around it so you could see the blue. So we'll put that there. And what do we want to put on top? Or stamp on the label? Maybe some just random numbers. Or words. We could use approved. Okay. Do we want to do that in blue as well? I think so. Blueprint sketch. Okay. And this is Signatures from the Past, Part 1, which is a sample stamp, Creative Expressions. Okay, now I think we'll do something like that on our tag. Alright, so let's get that all inked up and ready to go. I'm going to use some walnut stain. Do I want to put... No, I don't. I was trying to decide if I wanted to put a background stamp on the tag, but I don't. I'm just going to ink. Notice I'm being kind of rough with my inking so that it crinkles it up. Ages it up a little bit as we're going. Let me go around the photo as well. I'm going to take my fingernail and kind of go around these edges a little bit, just so they don't look fresh cut with a pair of scissors. You could use the edge of your scissors to do this if you don't have nails or you don't want to use your nails. Okay. So now we'll glue all that down and we'll have our tag done. Okay, so there's our tag. Now we're going to move on to this, and I'm going to ink around everything. I'm sorry guys, I know inking is boring, but for those of you that are watching that are beginners, I want to try and show every step of the process that I can. so that you know exactly how I got to the end piece. And again, you can crinkle this up and do some inking just by bending it and then going over lightly with the dauber. And paper has no memory, so it will flatten back out once you put crinkles and creases and stuff like that in it. You can put it under your work mat. You can put it under a heavy book if you're still having difficulties with it after you're done. And it'll flatten right back out. Okay, bend these corners a little bit. You can even put a little rip in it if you want to. Again, you can take your nail, rough it up. You can go over it with your dauber. Anything to make it look not as new. I've got a little splatter stamp that I like to use that you can kind of put on here, and it'll give it some age spots. As a matter of fact, we'll put some of that on here as well. Okay, now I'm going to take this little mutual profit coupon certificate, and I'm going to put it on here on the bottom part of the pocket. Want to make sure that I can see where it says mutual profit. So I think what I'll do is I'll glue it down and then trim it off. That way I can be sure and kind of center it. Oops. Or I can tear it. It's pretty thin paper. Okay, and then I'll just take my scissors. Trim off the parts that are hanging over. Like that. And then I'm going to take a piece of this ledger, which is old ledger from 1910, and I'm going to glue it to the back because it is so brittle that you can't really do anything with it except, you know, use it in a background because it is so brittle. I'm going to tear the date off, but I'm going to keep it for future use. And then I think I'll take this bigger Walt picture and put there. I want to be able to still see some of the time card. but we definitely need to ink this up and make it not so clean looking. So let's do that. And you see, by taking your fingernail, you can get some really interesting little grunge and stuff on the corners. Okay. So let's glue those down. Hopefully I can get this ledger on there. Oops, I don't want that. Without ripping it. This is not going to be a really frilly journal. You know, florals and all that kind of stuff, because it does have to do with finances and accounting and stuff like that. But so I've got to find other options to make it kind of interesting to look at. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to put a little thumb notch in here. There we go. And ink that. And then glue that as a pocket. Oops, I'm not having my art glitter glue open today. It doesn't want to play well. I can't have that. Glue that shut. So this will go down in here. And I want to put a stamp there on the name. Let's put, before I do that, let's put a couple of little age spots or splatters on that as well. Now, let's see. Let's find us a nice signature. This is signatures from the past two from Creative Expressions. Sample. And again, I'm going to go with the prize ribbon. No, that's not the one you used. You used blueprint sketch. Yeah. I tried to take that out. Do you see that? I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see the line better. Okay. Alright, I'm trying to put my pen in my glue. Sometimes that requires complete concentration. Alright, so I have one more picture that's a drive-in bank that I think is just a really cool picture. And I don't want to cover up anything else. So I think I may leave that. Do I want to put a tab on here? Actually, I think what I will do is I'm going to put this on here. That's a tuck spot. This is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I had in my scrap bin. And I'm going to ink around it. This is a trick for adding just another little tuck spot. Where you want to tuck maybe something small. So I just take a rectangular piece of scrapbook paper or something. I would recommend it be cardstock strength. And then cut a little thumb notch in it. And then I'm going to glue it just right like that. Because what happens if I do that and then I glue this down to a page in a journal and I glue just here, here, and here, I've got a place behind this, but I've also got a place in front of it. And so you can put, you know, a journaling card or whatever behind it. And then you can tuck little things here, which is what I'm going to do with this photograph. So, for gluing, I'm going to glue about halfway here. on both sides. And then I'm going to glue all the way down this side. And then I'm going to center it on the side, like that. And I'm not worried about what it looks like on the back because that's going to be glued to the page. Now what I have is this glues down to the page. It glues here, here, and here. And then I have a text spot here. It's not a real deep one because this is for small ephemera, but it creates another little pocket for you to just stick, you know, small stuff in. And then it creates a big pocket behind it where I could put, like for example, this payroll card. It may be too wide, but you could put, you know, something like that behind it, and I could cut it down a little bit, or I could do it that way if my journal allows. And then this little photo or some tickets or whatever I wanted could be stuck in this little place. And that way that creates another layer that you could use. Okay, so that's that one. Move it out of the way and we'll do the second one. For the second one, I have this. Oh, I forgot that I had this key I was going to put on here as well. That's another thing that you can do is use die cuts. If you don't have a die cut machine, there are plenty of people that you can purchase die cuts from on Etsy. Amy with Crafty Cat is one. She has several different things, and that's where this key came from, is from her. There are other sellers as well that have different things. If you don't want to invest in like a die cut machine, you can find sellers that will cut things out for you and have smaller quantities again that you can purchase. I don't know exactly where I want to put this right now, so I'm just going to stick it down in there to remind me that I want to use that key. Oops. Didn't get that edge, did I? So that I can move on to the next one and we can maybe get all three of them done. I'm going to stick this down in here too as well so I don't lose it. And I'm going to paper clip this all together. So when I go to put it in the journal, I got all my pieces and parts. Okay, next one. This one is going to be called The Druggist. And it is going to be like an apothecary, drugstore, pharmacy kind of journal. I've got some beautiful digitals to use in that, but we're not using digitals today. So we're going to attempt to make a piece of ephemera without digitals. Sorry, I'm trying to get fighting with the art glitter glue, trying to get it flowing better. Okay, so for this one, I have this is a piece of paper that comes on a big sheet that you can find at like stationery stores. And I happened to get this one in Germany, I think. But it was just a regular stationery store, and I'm sure there are places in the States that carry this kind of paper. I know my local art store has some. And like I said, I think the sheets are like 2 foot by 3 foot or something like that. And it's made to use as gift wrap or as the inside of books, you know, on the inside cover. So I thought this would go well with my colors for the journal and also with the theme. And then I have this piece out of a French dictionary, and it's got different plants and herbs and stuff like that on it, fruits. And then I have this receipt that I found at a thrift store. It was a whole book of them, and I paid a couple bucks for it, and you can see it's from the 1930s. So I'm going to use that. And then I have, this is a die cut from 49 and Market. And then I have this little whale tail that is made out of scrapbook paper. And I'm going to make a journaling card and a pocket. So I'm going to make the journaling card out of the receipt, and I'm going to make the pocket out of the paper. So it's going to be, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants on this one. Okay, let's do the journal card first, since I kind of know what I'm doing there somewhat, except I've lost my other half of my folder here. It's okay, we'll use the side we haven't, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to glue the receipt onto the file folder to sturdy it up. Sorry I'm bumbling so bad. Gosh, it's like, spit it out. Okay, and hopefully I'm not going to tear this, because again, this is pretty fragile. So yeah, don't be afraid if you go to like a flea market or a antique store or stuff like that. Dig around, because I found this whole book. It was in just a pile of stuff. You know how you go to some of those antique stores and they just have stuff piled everywhere? Yeah, this book was in that, and it really didn't even have a price on it or anything, and so I had to ask the guy, and he was like, you know, give me $2 for it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do that, because it probably has, you know, 50 to 100 of these, and they're just good bases. So, yeah, I'll do that. You know, a lot of times they bring stuff in there because they've bought it in a lot, and they just throw it out in the store. You know, they get what they feel like's valuable stuff out of it. And then they just kind of throw the rest out there because they don't have anything else to do for it. That's where you want to look, because that's where you're going to find the stuff that you want for journaling, because they don't see a value in it. And that's where you're going to get your best bargains. I'm telling all my secrets. And another thing is if you do find a box like that and you find several, see it ripped. But that's okay. We'll just put some ink on there. If you do find a box of stuff like that and there's more than one thing in there that you want, you know, bundle, as they say on archaeology. What is that show? Antique Archaeology. Bundle. Because if you take a bunch of stuff that they consider to be just worthless up there and say, how much will you take for all this? You know, they're going to give you a good price because you're getting rid of junk that they don't know what to do with anyway. Just saying. Same at estate sales. You know, they put stuff out there just because they don't have anything else to do with it, and they know it's probably not going to sell, and they're going to end up throwing it away at the end of the sale, and you show an interest in wanting to buy it, and they'll practically give it to you. I've gone to several sales where, you know, I've taken something that they thought was worthless up and asked them how much, and they were like, oh, hon, you can just have that. Well, okay, I'll take it. You're going to give it to me. Especially if you're buying something else. And another thing is, and I'm sure most of you thrift and go to estate sales and stuff, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But they do not expect you to pay what they have listed in most cases, unless they've marked firm on it. They expect you to haggle, and so the prices that they've put on things are their, you know, we know we're going to have to negotiate price. And the more you buy, the better deal you're going to get. So that's just a few of my little tips for thrifting. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do for that. I don't want to take anything away from that receipt. And the flowers is going to be enough because of what we're using here. Okay, so now, how do we want to do our pocket? Do we want to do another flip-up pocket, or do we want to do, I think what we maybe want to do is kind of like a coin envelope kind of thing. So if I fold that over, I want to make sure I'm getting it. I'm hoping this is wide enough. It may not be. Nope. I have some more of this though. Let me get a bigger piece. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. It comes in a really big piece. So I'm going to rip this in half so that I can work with it. Maybe I'm going to cut it in half. It's pretty sturdy, and I don't want to try to start ripping it and then it end up tearing right across the middle, which would be my luck. Okay, so it goes this way. If I fold that in, is it going to be, I don't want to cut a piece off and it not be wide enough. So not cooperating. Yeah, so if I cut off this piece, we should be good. All right, let me straighten that up a little bit. That one's good. All right. So we're going to fold the two sides in, and you want them to overlap. And you're going to pull the bottom up. And I'm not going to worry about, you know, having a closure on the top. I just want to make a pocket for the card to go in. And then I'm going to unfold it, and we're going to take out the extra bulk. So I'm going to cut at a slight angle here to that crease. And then cut an angle here. And on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. And the reason you're cutting at an angle is so when you close this up and you fold that up, you don't have any extra bulk at the bottom. Okay? So now, how high do we want it? So if this is our card and it goes down in there, we want to take probably about an inch off that. I'm going to do that. Ooh, do that with my trimmer here, just so I can make sure it's going to be even. And that's probably not even an inch. That's probably more like 3/4. Yep. And that way you can still see the card, and then we'll put the little whale tail up there. Although I don't want to cover. I don't want to cover the words. So maybe what we'll do is just put it on one side like that. That's probably what I'll do. Alright, so let's glue our pocket shut. I'm not going to worry about putting a thumb notch in it because the card does stick out the top. So I'm going to put my glue here and put my glue here. Close that, and then I'm going to glue this shut. Okay, and then my tab, I'm going to ink up and put on just the back, but I'm going to leave it 2 sides because this is scrapbook paper and it's white on the other side. So I don't want to cut it, you know, just half of it, because then you're going to see the white paper. So I'm going to glue it together. Plus it just makes it a little bit more sturdy because this is not like cardstock scrapbook paper. And I do not have a whale tail punch. I think this actually was included with my die cuts I got from Amy at Crafty Cat. Okay, so then this will fit down in here, like so. No, that's backwards. Turn it on this side. And then I want to take this and make another pocket on the front of this. I like I'm going to use the bottom part because there's a rip right here in the top part. I like the idea with the black and white or cream and black or whatever on the color. So for that I'm going to take, I think I'm going to back that with just regular coffee dyed paper. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use book page because there's no reason to waste coffee dyed paper on that. And I have a ton of book page, so why not? Because the actual page of the French dictionary is really thin, so it's not strong enough or thick enough to handle a pocket. Even though I won't put much in there. Alright, I think I want the top part of this. Now, because I put the backing on there, it won't, that rip won't matter. I'm going to cut it right up the black lines, and I'm going to make that bottom cut much straighter than I did, because that's terrible. There we go. I'm going to just put that on there just like that. Ink around it. And again, this pocket is for little pieces. For those of you that have watched me make ephemera or have gotten a journal from me, you know that I like to tuck little things in little pockets just to make it more interesting. So that's what this is. So it doesn't have to be super strong. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be real deep. It's just creating another layer to put something down in. And there's no real function to where it's going to get a lot of wear and tear, in my opinion. So I'm not worried about it being heavy duty cardstock or anything like that. Okay, now as far as what I'm going to put in there, let's see what I have in my ephemera basket. For this journal, that's not a digital. For example, that will go just perfect. A little advertising card. It is an original, and it is about throat lozenges. The best in the world. All the druggists keep them. So that fits color-wise. It's got these cute little ducks on it. It's got the pink little flowers on it. So we're going to stick it right down in there like that. And then I'm going to get, I think, another pink flower and put on the black and white. So let's look and see if I've got something small enough for that. I've got blue ones. Do I have another pink one? I have a huge pink one. Maybe this. Oh no, that's huge. I could take part of it though. Do I want to do that? Do I want to sacrifice it? Let's just dump these. These come on like a cardboard piece of paper, and or cardboard paper, and you punch them out. And I go ahead and punch them all out because it drives me crazy. So I just do them all at one time. And that way they're done. I really don't want to sacrifice that big one for that. I've got some pink little pod looking things. Got some leaves. Those leaves are too big. I've got some blue, but my blue ones are pretty big as well. Wow. No. Okay, I guess we're gonna sacrifice our big pink one, or part of it. Okay, so if I trying to separate it somewhere where it makes sense. Okay, and then all right. Look, I did that, and then I find this. Do I like that one, or do I like this one? I think I like that one. I like the leaves. Alright, so let's put this back up. Ink that. I like to ink these so that the little white things from where you poke them out of the cardboard are not showing. Now, I'll probably stick another piece of ephemera down in there once I have time to really go through everything. Because we've already gone over and we've only gotten 2 done. So, like this could go in there. This is also from an advertising card, but it's just the backside that I ran a photocopy of, and it's Mrs. Winslow's Soothing Syrup, but it's got an old calendar on it, so that could go in there as well. So I'll stick that in there temporarily, and I will call that a video, and maybe save the other one for next week when I do this. So yeah, go to your office supply, thrift store, estate sales, Amazon, you know, find things office supply wise that you can use, and you can make some really cute pieces. So hope you enjoyed that. Sorry I went over, I got bogged down a little bit. And I will hope to see you guys back tomorrow for I Thought on Pinterest. And until then, everybody have a good evening. Bye.